Okay, so for the Mouse with the question mark tail, we are in the middle of chapter 6. So we're going to finish up chapter 6 today. Human of the guards, humans, are all very well in their place as gentlemen of the bedchamber and back stairs. They have good figures for bowing and scraping, but it takes you mice to guard your boundaries and patrol your perimeters. We're never really off duty, you see. At this very moment that you and I are sharing, you mice are on picket and post, down among the waxy begonias, guarding the walls of the Buckingham Palace Royal Park. You won't see us, but we'll see you, everywhere you fail to turn. But it was my fate to be a Yule Mouse of the Guard for only a single day. Still, a mouse day is much bigger than yours. We keep busier. We get more done. And a red letter day because I made my first friend. Or so he seemed to be. We had to dress in pairs to tie the other's ruff at the back of the neck, to arrange his tail around his breeches. It was Yule Mouse Ian who appeared suddenly beside me. He seemed to have thrown himself together in some haste, and there was the slightest whiff of undigested insect hovering over him. But as he was completely kitted out, he was ready to help the new boy. The moment we met, I wanted to be just like him. He was very grand indeed, was Ian. Not handsome, far from it really. His profile wasn't stirring, but he had that weak and peaky look about the face and under the chin that is the badge of the English upper class. His whiskers were even wispier than mine, but they drooped with a casual abandon. Very prominent teeth, the pair up front, very prominent. How nice to be him, I thought, from the first moment we met in the changing room. He seemed to be kindness itself in his lordly way, which made a change from Trevor and Fitzherbert and that lot. You're not to take the sergeant major nearly as seriously as he takes himself, Ian advised. He's mostly bluster, and he tends to strut. In truth, he's really quite far down the chain of command. I rather suspect him of timidity. The bigger the mouth, the greater the fear. Is that a saying? I asked Ian, admiring it. It is now, I suppose, he replied with easy pride. How gentle-mousely was Ian. When he'd helped me into my uniform, he stood back so I could bask in myself. Mice and men alike look better in uniform than out of it. I looked remarkably good in mine. I stared down my scarlet self, emblazoned with the gold thread symbols of England, Scotland, and Ireland. The rose, the thistle, and the shamrock all beautifully worked across me. And above all, where my chest should be, the You Mice motto picked out in businesslike black thread, though I'm not sure I understood it entirely. It read, See, don't say. You mice don't have mirrors, but we have each other. How I longed to be turned out like Ian, down to the last tuck in his tunic. Here they are. Shall you be one of the sergeants major one day? I asked, or even the captain of the U-Mice of the Guard himself? It's very hard to say. I'm rather adrift in the world, being a younger son. It's my older brother who will inherit the title and everything else. And so something has to be done with me until I can find myself in the world. Awkward, really, being a younger son, but one must simply take courage and soldier on. The thought that Ian, too, was looking for his place in the world gave me heart, though I was nothing like as grand as he. I was smaller, too, though we'd get round to my size soon enough in this conversation. Meanwhile, I was admiring myself. I liked to think Aunt Marigold had sewn this particular uniform, and the hat, too, like a black velvet mushroom setting off my ears. The very thought of Aunt Marigold, and my eyes went wobbly and moist. So he misses his aunt. Ian noticed. It's quite a good fit, that uniform. Might have been made for you. You slipped right in. In fact, you're really rather slick. Waxy, I explained. From the begonias in the horse's ear. I ride by horse. Ian cleared his throat behind a light hand. It is quite all right if you'd rather not say how you got here. It's the truth, I said, for all the good that seemed to do. To change the subject, he said, I'm Ian Henslow. Rather an old family, actually. Once more Ian coughed courteously behind a hand. We came over with the Conqueror. 1066 and all that, and an unpleasant channel crossing by all accounts. I blinked at all this sudden family history rolled out like a tapestry. I can't trace myself back farther than me, I said. Everything before the warming oven's a blink. My eyes wouldn't have been open yet. Still, I must have had a mother. Oh, yes, you certainly had a mother, Ian agreed. Unquestionably. And a father, I said. Quite. Ian looked down. I haven't even a name, I said, taking pity on myself. Never mind. Not everyone's named, Ian pointed out. Take field mice. They never are. I sighed. Besides, Ian said, nameless is blameless. So I've heard, I said. At school, I was called Mouse Minor. Not really a name when you think about it, said Ian. And where did you say you were at school? Now he was helping me slip the crossbelt over my left shoulder. And if that was my left shoulder, the foot on that side was bound to be my left foot. It stood to reason. I was until recently a scholar of the Royal Mews Mouse Academy. Ian had drawn me a long-handled halberd from a pool in the armory. A sword of my own! Hearing my school, he lurched lightly but recovered. I believe some of these minor schools are quite good in their way. Quite good, I said. I know my numbers right up through 12, and rather more about the French Revolution than you cared to hear. Well, there you are, Ian said smoothly. What more do you need to know? He was a gentle mouse all the way through, was Ian. Courtly, though I had nothing much to compare him to. I wondered if he'd ever been in the presence of Her Human Majesty Queen Victoria, but didn't like to ask. He would certainly know how to act if he were. Besides, I needed to squeak up for my school. There is nothing minor about the Royal Mews Mouse Academy. It is always in the top 5 mouse schools throughout the British Empire. Of course. Ian perked up my ruff and gave me my tunic a tug. All schools are in the top 5. We were stepping up our pace because we'd shortly be on parade. That's military service for you. You're either primping or marching. Ian stood back again to see that I was turned out and standing tall. In fact, I was standing my tallest. I was practically on tip claws. Like tiptoes, but he has claws on his feet, so tip claws. Are you not quite grown, or just short? Ian wondered. I sighed. I do beg your pardon, he said. That was a personal question and quite uncalled for. I withdraw it. I suppose you just think of Napoleon and get on with it. Everyone around us was perking up one another's ruff and assisting with the arrangement of tails. Do take care not to tangle that sword in your feet, Ian said. It wouldn't do to fall over on your first day. I sighed again, and before I knew it, we were on our way to the parade ground, and yet more hidden worlds were about to unfold before me. Many are the mysteries of Mousedom. All right, that's the end of chapter 6.